Hello, everybody, and welcome. We have the honor of having Taya and Gary from Illuminous and their beautiful product, which I just received today, and I can already feel the energy just coming off these. So I'm excited to see what these are all about. But first, I'd kind of like to know a little bit about Gary and Taya and how you kind of ended up getting here and how the story of yours started, because this is amazing. So it has to be an amazing story as well.
Yes, it really is an amazing story, and more so, it has been an amazing journey.
Yes.
So, I would like to take everyone back down the lane to kind of where it all began. Prior to exposing or being exposed to biophotons, I've been in the medical world on the regenerative side. I have been dealing in the realm of stem cells, regenerative therapies, in the world of microbiology, peptides, and IV nutrition. I was doing consulting for some of the top celebrity doctors around the country at that time. And I had everything that I could have wanted in my life materialistically. Yet, when I came home at night, I was very empty. And that void inside of me kept growing more and more. And I couldn't figure out why. I was living on the beach in the middle of all the entertainment. I was the type of guy I had to go out to get all of my energies from my external environment. And I was just living that lifestyle, but yet when I came back home, I was haunted by my own emptiness when I laid down. And long story short, COVID happened. So all of the extroverts, you're in trouble.
Right?
we couldn't draw we couldn't draw energy from the outside anymore, from connecting with people. But little that I knew at that point, when I got these energies from being outside and being a social butterfly, I was also absorbing other people's energies. Okay. So there was a pro and there was a con at the same time. COVID came along, and then, as we all know, the polarities started stepping in. This is where consciousness really started splitting, and families were splitting, friendships were splitting. A lot of things were going left and right, including myself. I didn't understand what was going on. And I was deeply, deeply, deeply disturbed. I was deeply disturbed. And that void, because I had to now live with myself, that void grew larger and larger, and nothing I did in my external world could compensate for that. I kept getting the urge to go to nature, go to the mountains. I rented an Airbnb in Asheville, and the name of that Airbnb was Altitude Adjustment. It was like 5,200 feet up, and when you woke up in the morning, the clouds were literally underneath you. It was so majestic, and I was feeling all of these energies. I can now describe it,
No.
going through me, but urges. It was very strong urges to go out and pray. And I did that. There was this one rock that I went on, and you literally look like you could step off the rock onto the cloud.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
thankfully, I didn't do that. So in that moment, I had massive amounts of energies coming through me and urges to speak out. And I started doing that, and I didn't feel like ashamed or anything because there's no one around. It was complete, you know,
Right.
seclusion. And I started asking for help. I started asking for help at the top of my voice, very
Wow.
loudly. And when I started doing that, I wasn't asking for help from myself. I asked for help for mankind. And when I did that, I'm getting chills right now. When I
Yep.
did that, uh, bolts of energy started flowing through me, but I was also getting images. And the analogy of the images I was getting was when you downloaded a third party app on your phone and you click accept and you go through these 20 pages, you click accept. It was showing me that we have given away, every time we did things like that, we gave away part of our free will. And this is where it all started. And I realized, oh my God, we have given away our free will to the point where our connection between ourself and higher consciousness has been interfered with. But we are to blame. We gave it away. Yeah, we were duped into it, but we gave it away. Okay,
Right.
because and then I started getting the pictures very clearly. And I went back into my Airbnb, spending time with my son, and I came back home and I went back into my work life looking, and I was just thinking differently. And I remember myself under the microscope being invited to look at how stem cells work on a micro, on this, molecular level.
Right.
And I'm looking at how these things are differentiating and splitting and replicating and dividing. And it's like, wow, I now understood this on a completely different level. There was so much intelligence to how the cells were working. I'm like, man, this stuff, how is it working like that? What is triggering that intelligence? Where is the information coming from to tell the cells to divide? If the cells doesn't have a brain, how is it acting like that? And it's outside of the body. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So all of these light bulbs just started going off in my head. And then a couple weeks later, I was introduced to the photon. I was already working with different modalities. People was working with different light therapies, with different magnet therapies. And then the photon showed up because I started doing my research. I was actually trying to help a client that was trying to get to the US from Europe in the time of COVID because she had very severe Lyme disease.
Mm.
And she wanted to come to the particular clinic that I was consulting for. She couldn't come and she was very upset. So I started doing my research of other alternative therapies that can potentially help her. And I came across an article that was written regarding the aligning yourself with the magnetic resonance of the earth. And when you can align yourself with that resonance, healing happens. So I reached out to her and I said, look, whoever wrote this article, I think you need to contact this person. And as a matter of fact, they are in your backyard.
Oh,
And they did. And he gave the technology to her. And this was a very affluent woman. This woman was probably going to be in the next presidential running for the Czech Republic.
oh, wow.
So a couple of days later, she calls me up. She was very excited. Oh my God, I have no more pain in my joints. I actually slept like a rock. I feel so good. And then I am telling her, don't get too excited. It's only 2 days. You just never know if you're going to revert. I don't want you to be disappointed. Right. Fast forward 4 months later, she was cleared of her disease. She then goes back to meet this gentleman and she proceeds to tell him how she met him. She's like, well, I called this clinic and I spoke to this guy named Gary Kiss, and he did some research and he found you and he connected the dots and recommended. Now I think you guys should connect. And this is where I was introduced to the biophoton. The photon was sent to me at that point, and that's where I started really understanding, being introduced to this world and delving in. Because just like when you open that box and you felt the energy coming out,
Oh,
I was
yeah.
feeling the same thing. Instead, I had 8 boxes. So my TV shut down, my phone wasn't working, and I am I am listening to people outside my window who was sitting in front of my window because I was living at the beach at that point, and they're saying, "Oh my God, maybe the cell phone towers are acting up today." All of their phones were sticking because the field of energy was so
Oh,
big,
yeah.
and my head was like this. I couldn't stay. I was upset. I
And
had
it's
to,
palpable.
yes, very much so.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
I had to walk out to the beach very, very far down. And and I called him and I said, man, and this is what I'm experiencing. And he's laughing and he said, let me guess, the boxes are stacked on top of each other. I said, yes. He's like, well, go back inside and just separate them. And then it was a lot more tolerable. That first week of experiencing photon energy changed my life from being a bachelor on the beach, enjoying the lifestyle of, drinking alcohol a few times a week and hanging out and being Mr. Social. All of those things changed because I started detoxing in ways that I could not understand.
Yep.
I started sleeping, my cycle started, my circadian rhythm started reconnecting and
Right.
aligning. And I just started feeling really, really good to the point where I didn't want to do those lower vibrational things anymore.
Well, what a gift that was then, because you wouldn't have known what it was really supposed to be had you not had the other.
Exactly.
What a
Exactly.
gift.
So
And you
it
gave it to yourself. How good is that?
Oh
But you
my
just
gosh.
didn't
I,
know
I'm
it.
talking about cold turkey. Okay. This is no prepping myself. I'm done. I couldn't do it anymore. And I wanted to know what was happening to my physiology because
Mm,
obviously I was in that world. So I started making some phone calls. I had a couple Harvard, MIT doctors came in. There's four different doctors there and live blood cell analysis technician. So we brought
okay.
in all of the fun
All the
stuff.
fun people. I was going to say all the fun
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
So you can play and see how everything's showing up. Absolutely.
So cool. And I started looking, oh my God, like I see like my cells were that were stuck together, the rouleau within, we took the live blood cell and they put the sample next to the photon. And in 20, 25 minutes, all of the cells that were glued together started separating. All of the liver stress and uric acid started clearing. The wow factor was the electrical halo, like the cells that were prematurely dying, they came back to its perfect circle, and the electrical halo came back around the cell. They've never
Uh,
seen that. They've never seen that. And the cells started replicating because there was enough energy to proliferate.
that's wow.
It was the
Wow.
coolest thing. So fast forward, I'm excited. I'm like, oh my God, this is everyone's amazed by this technology. So now we decided to do our first internal case study. So we brought 15 people over. My house looks like a laboratory,
Right.
but there's this one particular woman that stood out. Young woman, stay-at-home mom, vegan all of her life. She was always a very, at-home person. She was not an extrovert.
Right.
You know, married to the same guy from high school. So it's like this is as pure as it gets, right? Yet she was very sick. She was very, very ill. And her blood work was not matching up with her symptomology.
Right.
And the doctors were telling her, many doctors were telling her, oh, this is psychosomatic. It's like, just
Uh,
sleep it off, whatever.
right. It's all
So
in your head.
it's all in your head. Western medicine can't prove it. So, it's not there.
Yeah. How
And
frustrating and sad for her.
right.
Yeah.
So, she brought her blood test. And even we're looking at her blood test, we're like, all right, well, we don't really see anything. Why it's not matching up to how you're feeling. So
Right.
only when we took her blood slide and put it next to the photon, then we started seeing all of these pathogens coming out from inside of the cell.
I want to come play at your parties.
Man, let me tell you, we're gonna have a party. We're gonna have a party.
That's
And we
amazing.
realized, yes, so we realized that these tests were not picking up intracellularly. It wasn't seeing what was going on inside of the cell, but the light was penetrating the cell, and the cell started vibrating at a
Yeah.
higher frequency, and nothing of the dark can live in the light. We now know that. So everything started scrambling out of the cell, and then it all started making sense. Oh my God, that's this type of pathogen. That's that type of pathogen. But hold on. How do you have these type of viruses look like you were sleeping with a random guy unprotected at the bus stop every week?
That's
You know,
scary right there. I don't even want to
it's
know.
scary. And I said, what do you do, girl? Are you lying to me? Or your husband is running around on your back? I mean, I don't know. She's like, no, no, it's not like that. And her friend even vouched for her, and I know her friend. And I was like, but what do you do? She's like, nothing. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I said, what do you do to make money? I'm a healer. Ah, what do you mean you're a healer? You mean if I give you $50? You're going to take my bad energy and give me a good energy because I know energy only transfers, it doesn't disappear. Yeah, something like that. I said, what's the demographic of your clients? And she started naming all of her clients. I was like, ah, looks like something is transferring through your healing sessions. How long have you been doing this? She said, at least 10 years. Then the light bulb started going off. So I had questions for the Harvard guys, the microbiologist. I said, guys, let me ask you this question. These parasites are acellular organisms. They don't have a brain. How are they so intelligent? If I put an IV in with some antibiotics, we can kill a few, but the rest of them are going to hide and colonate somewhere else, right? There is an intelligence, very intelligent, as I would add. Where is it getting its intelligence from? I just saw the Harvard brains hitting the ceiling when I started asking some of these questions. Where is it getting this intelligence from if it doesn't have a brain? Oh, it just knows. Okay, I get that. Where? Has to be externally from a lower vibrational source. Because when we put the photon, what happened, it cut the energetic cord between the parasite and the outer source. And that's why the parasites fell out and died.
So
That's not
then are you doing this with when you're holding the spheres? It's like, so are you also teaching the body to heal itself from that as well, or do you always have to be walking with this in order to do it? Is there some point where you're actually at a level where you don't need them anymore, or do you always need to have them?
Well, I would say this, and maybe Ty would add to that part, because of the world we live in, and there's so many layering lower vibrational frequencies, it's always depleting our sources,
True.
right? Just like nutrition, right? We must keep up with our nutrition in the same way we need to replenish our sources.
So it's like the quantum energy wellness bed. I mean, you're getting all those biophotons, and I've had it for 3.5 years. At some point, I tapped out, but I'm still walking within this world, and the walls are still blocking the biophotons from coming in, the food that is whatever, and the sky and the whole nine yards. So then I get depleted again, and then have to obviously fill back up with light, right? So
Correct.
that's kind of the same approach that you all are having. At some point, you can kind of tap up and fill up, but then because of our environment and the way the world is right now, then it's obviously beneficial to keep using them and you filling up with
Yeah,
light.
it's a law, it is a law. Anything that has a electricity has to be replenished. Right? So I would say it like that. Following back to where we were, we started asking these questions about the intelligence of these parasites and so on and so forth. And now we understood that parasites cannot live in light, oxygen, and alkalinity. It can only live in dark, acidic, and lack of oxygen,
Okay. Yeah.
which says what? That means the source that is connected to is of a much lower vibrational frequency. And we now know those parasites can be transferred through the biofield. So what happened as this woman kept doing these healings over the years, and she kept depleting her sources, and as the world evolved and more of these lower vibrational frequencies in the atmosphere came on, it just kept on depleting faster and faster,
Yeah.
right? And now when her energy levels or her vibrational frequency got down to the level of the energetic parasite, it opened the gateway for that parasite to enter. Because pathogens and parasites are always around us 24/7.
Absolutely.
It's always there, it's always airborne. And the only way they can enter is when your vibrational frequency has lowered to that state that resonates with that.
Right. You invite it in, but you don't know it.
You invite it in,
Right.
right? So that was going great. We were working with the biophoton energy, the photon energy, I would say, and I keep differentiating, right?
I'm noticing that.
And then Taya and I met because I was actually manifesting to find a few things, and I was like, let me try this manifestation thing. I'm going to manifest the impossible. I want a tall, hot blonde that is highly spiritual, that can be my spiritual teacher, and that I can be happy with, that is not crazy. Not possible. Because my mind is like, no, this is not possible.
Good. Taya, I'm glad to hear you're not crazy, but I already knew that by seeing you when you first came on. Just saying.
And I would say a month after my manifestations, Ty and I met, and we met over the photon. Because I didn't understand what was going on. I understand certain things because we were doing the internal case studies, looking at how it was kind of working with the cell, working
Sure.
with the energy fields. And so the dots started connecting, but I still didn't have the big picture. We met through the photon. Someone was telling her, and oh, you got to meet this guy with these crystals. And she was like, oh, someone else wants me to see their crystals. Like I'm dying, so we
Yeah,
met.
it's another guy with miracle crystal balls.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
You're like, oh, I haven't heard that one yet. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I
Right.
was like, so not original. So, you
Right.
know, we met up and the photons came out and she was like, oh, okay. And she takes out a napkin. We were at the most horrible natural ice cream shop in Orlando, which I recommend you not go to. So we were sitting outside and she takes a napkin and starts drawing what's happening because the photon, she has that ability to connect with light. She is the light master. So she's drawing and she doesn't even know she's drawing, but through channel she's drawing. And I'm like,
Right.
oh, oh, that's the cell. That's how it's working. She's like, well, that's how it's working. This is what it's doing to the cell. This is how the energy is connecting with the cell. And she actually started because we didn't know how to use the photon. It was sent to me and it just said, leave it on the table. Don't touch it. Just let it work in the space.
And it does. If
And
you want to
she
just do
said,
that.
yeah, and she said quite the opposite. She actually started writing the protocols and how to use it and kind of bringing everything together and how to make it, in its
More
practical.
focused. More
More,
focused.
she
Yeah.
was telling me the applications of how it can be used.
Yeah, and I will step in. I'm like a spiritual nerd. Uh,
Ah, okay.
Master of Light, I'm Master of Reiki. I teaching people how to meditate. I teaching people what is the light, what is the frequency, and etc. I have my groups and etc. And on other side, I have an IT background, so I must to understand why I teach.
Ah,
So
there
that's
it
where
is.
I meet the social medical butterfly and IT spiritual nerd. That's
I
why I
love it.
start to more investigate on a light. I start to implement a photon energy to Reiki session, to manifestation session, to meditation. I see how other people reacted, how it's like a tool become a universal tool.
Yeah.
And I see how its body reacted of my patients, and I see, okay, first we need to do a grounding after we should that and that because body respond better. After we did the whole lab investigation, which includes me at that time. So I was doing that one party with the cells. That was super interesting. We even investigated a little bit what I apply to the client. We seen
Right.
how it's combined, and that was
Sure.
interesting. Yeah. So that's where I step in, and with the time, the everything shifting, and we understand that we need to do something beyond that. And because I'm the natural channel, I start to receive information. You should do it. You should do it. You should do it. I have no idea how to do something like that. I was working with mandalas. I was working with the patients. I have no idea what to do. I'm a scientist, but I'm data scientist. I'm not the physics scientist. I have no idea what's going on there. So, and during the 2 years, I get a lot of information through the channel. What is the real metaphysic? What is the real physiology? Where the right now scientists missing? What they missing, etc. And clearly, I get the I will call the blueprint for ELUUMIS. because
Okay.
ELUUMIS, as told Gary, is not photon, it's biophoton. Here we start to step in, yeah, and each of the ELUUMIS product are connecting to the endless biophoton source. You can, the best way describe that is like your phone all the time connected to the iCloud. You don't know what is going on, but it's always give you your photos and videos.
Right.
Very alike.
Yeah.
And that's how it all kind of came into being. It was a process. It was over a little over 2 years, but Taya started receiving all of the information through channel, how to connect the photon, how to program the photon, and then I would go to these medical conventions and come back with knowledge that really excited me and said, "Oh my God, this is how this is working." And she would literally program that into the photon in very.
So when you're dealing with the spheres, the balls with the crystal, so how is it that I'm assuming some of the geometry that's in there is obviously a very important piece, because otherwise I can just feel that you wouldn't be putting anything in there that makes no sense just to make it pretty, because it has to be functional and it still looks pretty. How is it that you code these particular frequencies? Because like I got mine today and I'm noticing also that like each one is coded for the person, right? So it's biophotons, but it's also its own download, right? By the one that gets set out, which I think is beautiful. Now I have no idea what mine is, but whatever, it is what it is. But I find that amazing. So how do you do that download for each of these?
So yeah, each photon have a physical form and a non-physical form. The physical form, that's what we can see in 3D, 4D. It's our crystal, and the crystal is very specific blend. We can use a blend only from two parts of the world. It's specific area in Europe and specific area in Brazil.
Oh, wow.
Why? Because it gives that possibility to, how I told them, a photon soul coming. So the yantra inside, based on sacral geometry, that's what exactly allowed us to put the biophoton soul, that consciousness. And that consciousness allowed us to have a non-stop connection with the biophoton field, which give you biophoton.
Okay.
So that's that way, very alike iCloud working.
Right.
So
You're
additionally,
downloading all the time when you're walking with them, basically.
they all, yeah,
Yeah.
they all the time is there. And when I invite a soul, and it's really like invitation of the soul, it's very like the birth process of humans or animals, just a little different. So when soul come in the first biophoton, where the two cells connected, it start to, by using two DNA, start to create the matter. Yeah, that's looking like that.
Okay.
It's a little bit different for photon. We already prepared the body and invite soul inside.
Okay.
When soul coming, and it must to be a specific environment, a specific electromagnetic field, physical. We are using three different modalities. We're using earth, water, and air. So when it's loaded here for 3D, it's as well loaded there on 7D together on at the same time. Each of those, they always 10-15% above your personal vibration on current time. So it's
Okay.
always allowed you to a little bit grow, but not too much. You didn't experience what Gary experienced.
Right.
Lance.
The detoxing, the heavy
Yeah,
detoxing.
you're
Yeah.
slowly detoxing.
Right.
And again, for example, today you are in a good mood. You wake up fully energized, and after was something you didn't sleep well, for example, or have a difficult conversation with someone, or eat something which doesn't suit you, your vibration will change. We are biological, will change all the time.
Sure.
So you again hold your photon, and it's again will be just 10-15% above your current vibration. So you are growing and they help you to grow up. Always a little bit, a little bit.
So is that, in order for that to happen, do you have to attune it to you? Or
No,
does
happen
it happen?
automatically.
Okay,
Yeah,
so if
for
you're
example,
people that
right
are
now,
sharing it with their families or whatever, that's
yeah,
still
right now I
happening
hold the
whoever's
baton.
holding it.
I give it
Nice.
to Gary, and it's right away. I just to him.
Okay.
It's again, biophoton have no time. It's like that.
So then if you do attune it to you, then what shifts and changes with that then?
So it will work in exact same as in there will be a one small detail if you tune to yourself.
Right.
That biophoton soul start to more co-vibrate with you. You slowly first start to feel like people describe it like I feel my photon like a pet first. And after when you little bit start to work with, you start to feel it's like your partner in the crime. Because mostly if you are working in some kind of modality, if you use this photon every day, you start to understand it's something more than just my pad because it's helping me actually.
Right.
So yeah.
And what is the field? How big is the field that it creates around you? I know with the quantum energy wellness bed, it's like a 30-mile field that when that bed's turned on with all the biophotons, it creates a huge field around it. How big is the personal ones?
So the personal ones is between, I would say, 5 to 7 feet on
Okay.
average. Now that depends on the individual because I
Right.
had it really does. I had the big one. So we just give averages. The sky, it's between, I would say, 6 to 800 feet. But when I had it at the last event, it was an 11,000 square feet room, and people walked in, and the minute they walked in, they felt the field.
I
So
bet.
I would say the concentration is that, but it spans a lot further.
Got
Yeah,
it.
another detail, for example, if you live in an apartment and you have in your ELUUMIS sky, those are made with the major law of choice. So it will create a field for your apartment. It's not will touch your neighbors. So it's depend on the area where you are. For example, we live in mountains. We have just bears around. We can allow us to be as much huge as we want, and we do
Right.
have a lot of experience when we do in load, when we work with the photon. Animals coming. We
Yeah.
have everybody start to come to our property, the bears, the deers, the fox. Once even coming turtle. I have no idea how. We live in the hill. I go out and I'm like, how long time you walk here? And turtles. That was interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, that's depend on your environment. But
Okay.
they are respect a choice. So if you allow yourself to be healed, they will give you biophoton. They will start to work with your biofield, with your frequency, help you in that level where you right now are ready to get help, what you're ready to read off, because
Right.
it's increase the inner light and inner light in the area where you need. Yeah, and
So it doesn't give you more than you can handle. It's working with you.
correct. Yes,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
why there is subconsciousness.
Right.
That consciousness allowed to feel you and
Yep.
co-vibrate with you. Like you, if you healer or if you doctor, you already know with your experience come in person, you know how much that person can get.
Right.
Very alive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That's amazing. Are you ready? Maybe some people have some questions. Are you ready to take some questions?
Absolutely.
Awesome. I know. Well, I'll come to you in a second, David. Let me go to Nick and see what he's needing.
Yeah, no, I just had a quick question on the frequency of the so if it's a 10 to 15% above you, right? Then if you use it on other people, like what then happens? Is it still your frequency? Does it change? Or how does that process look like?
No. So because it's biophoton, we use subconsciousness. For biophoton, there is no time, no dimension. It's no time, really. So right now I'm holding, and it's 10-15% above my vibration, current vibration. Right now, it's 10-15 of his.
Okay. Okay.
It doesn't change. Ball will adjust it depend on you. I go in a very high level of meditation, much more higher than even seventh dimension. They go in with me, with no problem.
Okay, so you're going past, you
I
go
am
past
higher,
7 dimensions.
and it's
Awesome.
going until 33. So
Awesome. Oh,
they
all
go
right.
in with me wherever I want, depend on where. Yeah, and
You're high
so
on his
far,
rock then.
I didn't find a limitation so far.
Awesome.
Awesome. Cool.
So there
Thank
is like never ending story of raising yourself and helping yourself. That's the
That's
beauty.
beautiful.
Another
you.
another way you can tell that is if you let multiple people experience it,
Mhm.
everyone's gonna have a different experience.
I love that. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Because that's what it should be, right?
Yes, it's
Mhm.
never a
We're all
one-size.
unique, right?
Correct. It's
Yeah,
never one size
that's
fits all.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, what we find out the first, it's probably true for everyone. The first is affect your nervous system. That's
Okay.
where people first feel more calm or they feel more active, depend on them state, and after it's going where it should go.
Right. Totally. All right, David Dennis, what you got?
Hey, howdy. My question is, I'm interested in understanding the sympathetic resonance between the three different balls and how you see the impact of the field with, the purpose behind that sympathetic resonance of the three. We've been playing around with in changing the light sources and utilizing extraordinary far infrared and such on it. And I'm wondering how you see the impact of I think you were out in California, you used some of our device to drop some of your ELUUMIS technology on some of ours and see that resonant frequency. So I'm wondering how much sympathetic resonance are you seeing between the three structures versus someone that may choose to only purchase the one or just purchase the two? How do you see that harmonic changing? I think you understand what I'm trying to say, but English doesn't really do it justice.
How I like to answer that. Some people think because it's smaller, it's maybe less stronger than the big one. That's the first what we usually, which kind of feedback we get getting back. It's not very true. They work differently. So those one, they are strive to harmonize your current state. Emotional, energetical, frequency, physical, whatever. How I explain, if you have a pain in the elbow right now, you hold those, they will first take care of your pain because it's bring you a harmony, because when you have a pain, that's where you concentrate it. Yeah. If you get a big one, he is strive to a root of the issue. He forget about your pain elbow. He going to fix your back somewhere in the spine, which is give problem for the elbow. So it's not mean he's more stronger. He just less care about your current state. Those one are more gentle work. You as well grew up, you as well heal, you as well get biophoton as much as you can in the current state, but more gentle. That one don't care about your current state. He know the problem in the back. We're first going to fix the back.
One more quick question on that. Since we're looking at an environment where we may have, 60, 70, 100 different people using technology, do you think it's better to utilize sets with a group of people versus having one set good for hundreds? It seems like there'd be some frequency imparted or kept in memory of the crystalline structure of those small balls. Or do you feel they can cleanse and clear in between people, or are they still kind of keeping that resonant memory of the previous environment they were with, the previous energy they associated with? Do they still keep that imprint the way water does, or do you feel it's a true cleanse and clear between people?
Yeah, I really like that question. And this is very, very important. This technology, both all biophotons, are only programmed to be on output. Therefore, it is never absorbing or imprinting from the last person that held it. So it's only on
Excellent.
output. And the second part, from a quantum scientific perspective, that is very important. By nature, a photon has a neutral positive charge.
Mhm.
And through the neutral charge, the observer can, I would say, interfere with the photon.
Yeah, it's the choice of the quantum field through tetrahedral geometric form.
Yes,
Mhm.
these particular the ELUUMIS biophoton has a double positive charge. So no extraneous things from the environment can penetrate that. None. So I really, really like that question
It's a
because
locked
it's
spin. Mhm.
important. Yes, that's,
Locked spin. Mhm.
yeah, it's very one of the most important questions because, hold on, because it really protects your biofield from the other biofields, which creates energy transfer. So I really
Exactly.
appreciate that question.
And I will stop and add something more. Yeah, but we have a physical crystal body. Yeah. It can impact what going on inside, but we have a physical body. Usually what I recommend Gary to do if you go into expo, just once a day, you put your ball under running water. That's it, nothing else.
Mhm.
Nice.
Just to make sure that's super easy stuff because water is a cleanse the destructor and whole. That's it.
Mhm.
That's max what we do, and Gary always bring the exact same set on Expo, and crazy amount of people touch it, different with different problems. We never have any.
So,
One.
Abbott, you'll see that in my budget shortly.
So then let me ask you this too, because I know having the quantum energy wellness bed, I'm finding that, people have a tendency to think that they have a particular condition, but we all know it usually doesn't start there. It's usually someplace else. And so with your holding, I'm assuming the sky ball, it will go past what you think it might be and actually go to the root of the problem and start working with you there. Is that correct?
Yes.
Actually, you can work with ELUUMIS a few different way. First, you just hold and follow the flow. Yeah, so the biophoton will see where you have the less light and go in there. Yeah, and give you
Okay.
exact specific amount which you're able to get right now. Another way how you can work is use your focus. That's what we're doing during the meditation when we helping people to bring foot on a specific place. It's working as well this way. So if you, for example, I'm holding right now a futon, some apart amount of going general to hold my bodies. And right now I think about my elbow and I right away can feel that it's going to my elbow. Where is my focus?
Okay.
One of the things I see that's very, very interesting, the photon, I call it the energetic stem cell. It is the spirit of the stem cell.
Okay.
It follows the same exact laws. So when you put stem cells, when you infuse stem cells into the body, the stem cells are attracted to heat, which is a signaling mechanism. And it says, hey, I have inflammation here, and it releases a heat signal. And those stem cells act as a heat-seeking missile, and it follows that inflammation and it starts to repair because it's the body's way of signaling this is where it needs help. In the same way, the photon follows that signal of where there's less light and it goes to those areas to start bringing light into that area.
Amazing.
Works anyway.
Wow. I'm excited to have these and play with these with both with my clients on the bed, myself, play and explore. Like I said, I got the gloves so everybody can put the balls in there and they don't have to drop it while laying on the bed or worry about that. because I don't want to break the bed either, but I also don't want to have people breaking crystal. That's not good either, but they feel pretty durable. I mean, I don't think
Oh, yeah, that's
it would take a lot for those to break, but either way, I don't want to dent the bed. So, yeah, that's amazing. Wow, yeah. And like I said, just having them here, like between the bed being on right now and these, I'm telling you, I'm gonna have to really ground myself before driving home.
Yes, yes.
I'm all into where this future is going for what wellness really is, and people understanding this whole new old way of being. And I think it's going to be amazing that people will feel all of who they are, right? Some of them for the very first time, not knowing that that is who they are when they feel this energy. So I'm excited for that.
I can feel your photon through the screen just by looking
Yep.
at it.
Can you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Okay, good. So how's it programmed?
Yeah.
I can tell you what number it said it is. What is it?
Oh,
Are these
The number is under the program and vibrational frequency in the chapter welcome. There is
okay?
a whole list of different
Kind of went through some of those, but that was before I got it. This was like last minute. I had to drive home, go get it, bring it back, unwrap it, and then ta-da, here you are. So I'm excited. Does this have a different frequency than these two?
as I remember, yeah.
Okay, because I noticed the numbers are
Coming from
different.
they coming from different loads, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely excited. And I don't know if people can really see it, but I mean you can see all that the geometry in that. I don't know why my screen isn't showing me, but it's like, oh my God, it's just absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
But the feel of this, I'm telling you, the first thing I thought of when I picked up the box at the house and was bringing it home, because I could feel it in my car, I'm like, how did the UPS driver feel about this? Because I bet you that he felt some of that too. I'm like, because this is no joke. Like you can really feel it. So I was like, this is interesting. So I kind of wish I knew who the driver was and checked like, how was your day today?
didn't know the extra synchronicities going
You
on.
were, yeah, you were carrying some magic today.
Yes, that's
Well, it is Christmas time.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Nick, did you have another question?
Yeah,
Nick?
I had just a really small one on the back end of the two, like the matter going more for, I guess, let's say the symptom, and then the sky going more for the root cause. In one way to put it, is then safe to assume that one is almost like the matter is going to work a little bit more immediately, like you would immediately feel better in the elbow, where the sky would be more of like a long term, or how do those
No,
play in that sense?
it's depend on you, your state. Some people are more attracted to work with the matter because they prefer more gentle work. Some prefer, like for example, me are more attracted to ELUUMIS Sky. I prefer to strong and rough work. It's not about I get it better with the sky than with ELUUMIS. With ELUUMIS, more gentle. So it will be kind of working in the root and balance you on the same time. Working and balance and balance and balance. The sky first going to want to take care of root, and after you'll take care of the pain.
Okay.
I'm with you on that. That's kind of how I like to approach things too. So I'm excited to play with that. And I know I did read your site's amazing. There's a whole lot of information for people when they do purchase it that that you provide and videos. And I mean, it's a lot. And of course, I was like a little kid in a candy store. I'm like going through stuff yesterday. And I'm like, I get it, but I gotta get it first before I can really get it.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like, okay, so it's like now, so today I'm like, okay, now I can go and read it because now I can feel it. It's just like now it makes sense. The alignment's kind of there. So but for anybody that just wants to go and look, I mean, it is there's a lot of information, and purchasing it is I know I can already feel it as a game changer. So my life is about to change. It did when I bought the bed 3.5 years ago. It's like that opportunity. People think it's for other people, but it's really for yourself and then how you change others. But it starts with you, right? Because it brings up all those opportunities like you had, Gary, to learn, like, the dualities and how we're living and stuff. And that's what the bed and all the biophotons and the ampage did for me. Um, so it's like I know how this works. So I had to kind of think for a second, just a second, if I really wanted to get this. Like I said, only a second, because then I'm like, yeah, I'm all in. Bring it. Let's go. Let's play. So anybody that wants to play, I think it's an amazing product and I'm looking forward to playing with it. Does anybody else that have any other questions? I know there's a couple other people in here. Anybody else? Why we have these amazing people to be able to ask them questions? I know I'm going to have more once I start using it, but I
Yeah,
know
anything you like.
Got
Yeah.
one more, but I'll defer if anybody else has.
Yeah.
anybody else? Let's go, David.
I just had a question with respect to from a design perspective. One of the aspects of the bed we're currently working on is incredibly high haptic response, high resonant control frequency. So I'm investigating into different ways to immobilize your technology without damage, but yet without impact. So I'm investigating copper. I'm looking into like black walnut and other substances. Have you already done some of that investigation to see what works best? Because we're literally creating a box that can create like magnitude 8 earthquakes or higher. So
Yeah.
with resonant frequencies. So have you investigated any of those from a stability perspective?
Copper.
I do everything in copper, but yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it just goes so it's such a beautiful conductor and I'll tell you why from both the material standpoint, but also the physiological standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Well, obviously copper is a beautiful conductor of energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it can also be directed.
Right.
So that's
And it has a great memory.
great memory, yes. And from the physiological standpoint, remember copper, it creates the exchange with the hemoglobin, with the blood, and it also helps to rid the body of excess iron, which brings more
Yes.
releases that electron so more biophotons can come in.
Stronger field.
This
Yep.
is why the copper, I would say it's king.
And most people are depleted of copper anyway, and they
Correct.
keep
Most
taking
people.
iron like it's going out of style, which is going to make them sick. So
That's right.
a lot of our foods back in the day had copper in it, right?
Yeah.
And so we're not getting the copper we need to be that conductor too. So yes, totally, I'm on board. So
Definitely.
I'm
Well,
gonna
that's where I was already headed, but wanted to see if you tried anything else. So.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
have one personal question. I have it with it being solstice tomorrow. I'm doing a big drumming here. And now that I have these lovely tools, what would you recommend and how to use that?
So we just did so basically you'll be with a group of people, right?
Yep.
And I'll tell you a beautiful way how you can use the ELUUMIS matter. So
Okay.
like in a circle.
Yeah, well, it's already set up.
And let's say one is holding one, and there's
Okay.
a circle of people, and at the end of the circle, they're holding the matter at the end of the circle, but everyone joins hands.
Yep. We've
Uh,
already done that and it works great. Yep.
It's phenomenal, phenomenal. So you can definitely
Yeah, for
play with
example,
that.
it can be something like that. Yeah. For two of those,
Yes.
like better this way, probably. Yep.
Yeah.
But without the rings. Yeah. But
yes.
It's a lot like the vertical stacking they were talking about, except it's huge
Yes.
amplification.
And
Right.
a huge amplification.
and if
Yes.
you can in the middle put your sky,
Mhm.
that would be something.
Absolutely. Well, I'm thinking, yeah, because we could start that way and end that way.
Mhm.
Yes. Oh, that will
Right.
be
So that
absolutely
they can
phenomenal.
actually feel the difference, kind of the before and after, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh my gosh. Thank you. No, that's just amazing.
My invite must have gotten lost in the mail, Marilyn.
Listen, I've got like 20 people and 11 of them needed drums. And I'm like, you're lucky I have enough Native American drums for people to use. God, this place can only handle so many people, but the amount of energy that's going to be in here, like even the last time I had it for a full moon, like this place was levitating, I swear to God. So I don't know what tomorrow's going to do.
I'm curious.
It'll be
Me
fun.
too. I'm thinking it's beyond levitating. We're just going up dimensions. So hey, there it is. So I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah, I would love to impart something, a piece of information that's very important to me, and I think this is going to be very important to everyone about the importance of biophoton, this ELUUMIS technology. So when living light gets absorbed into the cells and into the DNA then vibrates. And it's that vibration of the DNA that creates the physical body and the biofield.
Mhm.
So when we are not, and it triggers every single biochemical process in the body, every single one.
Wow.
So when people say, oh, the true root of disease is inflammation, well, yes and no. The true root of disease is lack of light.
Yep.
And then that light comes into the DNA and it goes through a process called a transcription process from the DNA to the RNA. So the DNA acts as a fractal antenna, picking up and constantly reading information that's being recorded from our biofield. So our biofield is like the recording device of everything that's going on all around, whether we consciously or subconsciously remember it. Then that information goes down into the DNA and then is transcribed from the DNA to the RNA, and the RNA acts as a projector of our reality. There's no coincidence right now that the attacks are between that process, which is the miRNA. This technology, one of the major designs or purposes of this technology is to protect that transcription process between the DNA and the RNA, protecting our real reality, because the Earth is quickly ascending its vibrational frequency into the fifth dimension. So this technology is helping to activate and bring in the new light codes coming into the DNA and integrating it beautifully without stress, so we can rise with the frequency of our planet. And when combined with the quantum bed, it really ties things in together so beautifully for the physiological body and our spiritual body. So I wanted to share that because it's really important to understand that our light is what is under attack. Our connection to divine is what is under attack. And by having these technologies, you're untouchable. You're very highly protected, especially that beautiful little process between the DNA and the RNA. So that's important.
And I will add, you're not just protected. You help yourself and you help others.
Yes.
Because what want ELUUMIS as an idea, as a project, it wants to raise up the vibration. And we have 3 different, I will call vibrational ELUUMIS projects. One which we do not sell. It specific devices. They're much more bigger.
Let's do a comparison. So
Yeah.
this
Are
is
you kidding? Oh my.
They are a specific design for Earth. So they have no limitation of 10-15 process. It's right now a pure high channel of biophoton. So that is for the Earth, and we do have it's our underlying charity program when we go in different part of the Earth and the water when we put the photons. So to create a first photon grid. The second photon grid It's exactly those people who is holders of photon.
The physical holders.
The
yes.
physical holders. Soon we will create a map when everybody who have a photon can see what the beauty we create. All of us, because anytime when you are working with the photon for yourself, you share in this frequency on your vibrational level. So you heal other. The third grid of photon is a biohealing stream. We have a specific photons which created for streaming. And those are, it's a combination of a few devices which based on sacral geometry as well. They create a third level of biophoton, which anytime a person click it and start to stream in photon, that person get help. His level get help in an environment. Something going to the earth and something going to subconsciousness, and specific load of those streaming photon, it's actual strive to unlock our choice.
Wow.
So it's actual, and soon we will, by the way, soon we will more concentrated on community than on a program where people finally start, because we do have so much story. People are sharing with us experience, how they are involved to a different modality, a different balls. So soon it will be community where people can share and learn from each other. That's what as well ELUUMIS wants.
And it will happen. I am sure of it. So thank you so very much, both of you, Gary and Taya. The creation that you created, you know, part of me, I wish I was Oprah. You get a set. You get a set.
That's
Like, I'd like to be able to just share it with all, you know, that would just be amazing. And I think because, you know, I love having the quantum energy wellness bed, but it's big, right? You know, and it serves a beautiful purpose. You know, I wouldn't change a thing. I still think it's an amazing piece of equipment. But with these, it's so nice that on a personal level, so many people can make a difference in their life.
Yes.
With the bed, without the bed, you know, it's just great. So I'm looking forward to see where we're all growing, because that's really what it is,
That's
right?
what it's about. That's
Yep.
what it's about. Yeah, and one of the things that Taya said, the stream is no limit. So that's where when you say
Yes.
we can stream this energy through the camera through the biohealing stream. But I want to bring it back to the foundation, and I really want to say a special, 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 special appreciative thank you to Jason Estes and the team at Void Space, because Jason was the only one when we saw each other at the biohacking event. Within a half of a second, he identified the technology the most accurately than anyone in the world. So,
That's Jason.
and it was
Gary.
like an instant brotherhood after that. It was like, all right, you're my
Hey,
brother.
Gary, same
Yep.
exactly, what is it, 3 years ago when I first met Jason, same exactly thing happened to me with my tech. It
Yeah.
took him less than a second. He's like, oh my gosh, this is alive. And I'm like, don't tell anybody else that.
Yeah. So really a
yeah.
special, heartfelt appreciation. And it's an honor to really work with the Void Space team. Because I mean, you guys got it going on.
So we appreciate you because we can tell you got it going on too. So great teamwork, and I absolutely love where we're all going and growing with this. So I'm looking forward to people seeing this and watching it later, and me playing with it and other people playing with it when they get theirs. And then connecting with community on your site when that starts happening, because that's one thing I do love with voice based technology, having the community, things, how people use them. It's like, oh, I never thought of that. That's a great idea. I mean, oh my gosh, there's some amazing people out there, and we're all getting different codes and information and downloads and how to use things. And so, yeah, we get to share it. So I'm looking forward to that with you all, with ELUUMIS as well. So thank you for being the amazing people you are and bringing the technology that you did, and being the light, right? So, and making a huge difference in the world. So I'm looking forward to where we're all going and growing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much. So nice meeting you. Take care,
Yeah.
everybody.
Bye, guys.